The only reason is it's fresh in your mind. I know you're doing it with the meeting minutes, but it's also fresh in our minds so that we see them and have any thoughts. It's not going back and back trying to figure out whether we agree with the minutes.
It depends on my schedule, what I have on my schedule and how I feel, but I will try.
Okay. But, you know, the earlier the better.
Sometimes I have appointments,
That's understandable.
interference in there, sometimes, but I will try.
Understandable, but if we could do it earlier than later, that would be good. That way it's fresh in everyone's mind. Okay. Thank you. Director and committee reports.
The treasurer's report is supposed to be before that.
Okay. Well, I got it included.
He has it included in the committee report.
Oh, okay.
I'm
It doesn't
assuming.
say it.
Yep, so,
What director reports are you getting? It says director.
well, some of the directors are head of committees, so I put directors, but we can do treasurer and committee reports if you'd
Well, I
like to
just
see
didn't
that.
know, I didn't know what was going to happen.
That's what I mean, so I will change that to treasurer and committee report. So we start with Ed.
Okay, the April budget report. The month of April, we had $32,197 income. Year to date was $128,208. The expenses for the month of April were $44,871. The year to date was $134,907. I think I have a mistake in there. No, that's right. Swim club cash was $19,496. HOA cash is $210,636. Our overage or surplus is $157,516. Our HRA reserve fund balance is $198,742. Our swim reserve fund balance is $120,145. Do you want me to talk about the HRA report at the same time?
If you have something to
Yes,
report.
I do have something to report.
The what report?
The aging report.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Everyone should get a copy of the aging report if you print out the finances that Kat sends to you.
Yeah.
It's in there. Okay, but that's very basic. It's a very simple report. Where do I have it?
I have one, I don't think I
Have it in front of me, so I'm talking about it. Kat and I have been working for the last 2 weeks on getting it more specific for me to make a report, okay, rather than the simplicity that comes out to everybody. And we really have it pretty good here. Part of this report, we have 37 homeowners who are delinquent on some kind of fee, even if it's a quarterly fee, a late fee, or there are many other fees that they're late on. 2 of them are at the attorney already. I know about 2. 8 were sent late, first late letters by GPS. That's a standard procedure. 7 were sent second late letters. If they don't answer the first within 30 days, they get a second late letter. 4 were sent the third late letter, which means it's 60 days beyond the first letter. Based on the past practice, when a fee is due more than 2 months from the, is late more than 2 months past the due date, that's when we send it to the lawyer. Okay? I have 9 properties that will be available to send to the lawyer. Not quite yet, because they aren't the 30 days. But I'm going to ask that, and I'm only going to list numbers. I'm not going to list any names or addresses. That when that comes to fruition, and it's the 30 days, that I have permission to send them to Larry, or have GRS send them to Larry to follow up.
30 days or 90 days?
Well, it's 30 days from, we have the first letter, they have 30 days.
Oh, 30 days, oh, gotcha.
Second letter, they have 30 days, so.
Right.
Then there's another, so it's to that point that they're gonna, and there's issues that we need to, I think we should address in the newsletter also. Some people have automatic payments. That's fine. But instead of having the automatic payment come off the day that the payment is due, they have it come off at the end of that month. That's a problem, because it's late if it's after 30 days, not 31 days. So if there's 31 days in the month, and they have the automatic payment come off the 31st, it's late.
Now, what do you mean by come off?
When
That's what the
automatic
bank-
transfer,
that's what it's
we have
from.
automatic
From the bank?
transfer to the
Yeah.
bank. The bank has to get the money before it's considered paid, okay? Some people send checks, they're at the end of the month that it's due, for whatever reason, I don't know why, but the check doesn't count until the bank posts it. That could be 2 or 3 days after they receive it. It's late again, okay? Those are issues I think a simple statement in our newsletter explaining this to people, that they don't make that mistake, that they
Okay,
correct.
you wanna write something up and send it to me,
I
please,
will
Ed?
put something up.
I
I
think
think we
that's,
have to take into consideration the state of the economy, okay? You've got fuel prices, you've got groceries, you have everything else going up. And if someone can't pay it till the 30th or the 31st day of the month, but it's paid, and we're gonna consider it late, I don't think that's right, I'm sorry.
You gotta have,
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the system is set up that it's basically a bank issue. The system's set up that if they don't have the check cleared, it's going to appear as late. The consequences of the first late is just a letter, right?
Right.
and $5.
And $5.
And
Oh, it is $5,
Yeah.
okay.
And we,
And the second letter, basically, there's no more financial consequence, it's just reminding them they still owe me the $5.
Yeah, I think we need to reconsider that late fee.
Oh, definitely, I agree with you.
Because, you know, if someone's 1 or 2 days late because of bank processing, that shouldn't be on them. Like you said, some people are having a tough time, and as
Some
long as
people
they're
could get
making.
their
Yeah, but
social
they're late
security,
30 days after it's
No,
due.
that's, well, okay.
I mean, they get a 30-day grace period. It's
Yeah.
due on the
I see what you're
1st,
saying.
and they have 30 days to make that
suppose somebody
payment.
gets their social security on the 28th or the 29th. Not everybody gets their social security on the 1st of the month.
Well, what he's saying is it's due, say, April 1st, for example. If they don't pay it by April 30th, right?
No,
Because
if it's not,
gonna
the
go-
bank has it, I mean, they
If the
could
bank
have,
doesn't process it by the
Right.
30th, they're gonna get a late fee.
Okay, your social security is deposited on April 28th. You write the check because you know the social
Social
security
Security-
came in,
Posted in March,
okay?
you make your payment April 1st. If you don't make it by April 30th, you're gonna get a late fee.
right.
It's a part of the process, it's a
Yeah.
part of,
it's in
legal.
the docs.
It's our document.
It's
It
in the
doesn't
docs.
apply
Yes.
anymore.
And, you know, and I brought this up earlier, and the $5 penalty isn't a penalty. I mean, it really isn't. There's someone saying, there are some people who are letting it ride. They're letting the $5 ride, not hurting
So
them.
we're gonna send it, so what you're saying is that somebody pays their dues and they still have the $5 after 90 days, we're gonna send it to Larry Cortez to charge us a fee to collect $5.
No.
I
No,
don't think so.
no, they don't send the $5.
They would get
They,
30 letters, it's 90 days to pay
Okay,
the
so
$5.
somebody was late in January, they don't pay the $5 for 90 days or 120 days, we're gonna send it to Larry Cortez to charge a lawyer fee to collect $5.
he didn't say that.
No.
He's talking
I
about.
don't think
No,
they
he's
ever
talking
send
about
out
the
for
full amount.
$5. I don't think we've ever
The
sent
ones I
out
have
for
listed here, none of
$5.
them are $5 fees. None of them.
Okay, so you brought up an issue we need to discuss.
Right.
Figure out what's a reasonable way of approaching it and comply with the documents. And talk to GRS, see if they can't, how they can be involved in this, and accelerate.
I asked Kat, you know, what's the procedure for other HOAs, and basically that's it. After the second letter, they put them on, what do they call it, a 30-day hold. And then when that 30 days hits, they recommend to the HOA to send it to the lawyer.
Okay.
That's how they handle most of their HOAs. So,
And ours is quarterly, so if you paid in January, you have 2 more months to get to the quarterly. It isn't like it's monthly.
monthly, it's every
Right.
quarter.
so,
So you should be able to prepare for it.
Yeah.
right.
So, I have, like I said, I have these
Whether you're on a fixed income or
locations
not.
that I would like permission that when the 30 days, when the period ends, that we have GRS forwarded to Larry. I'll just list, do you want me to list
If
them?
you're going, no.
No.
If you're going to do that, just make sure on copy or anything you send,
Will do.
that GRS sends it to Larry.
Like I said, Kat and I, we have this is the report you get, not like this,
Right.
but we have a lot more information on here. Because I said, the report says you get a first letter. When did the first letter go out? You know, when does the second letter? I need dates, I need times, so I know when the penalties hit, and she did a great job putting that together. So, that's it.
Okay, I have a question on a different financial area, Ed. I had sent you a text, and you responded concerning our insurance, covering the board. And you responded,
Okay, you
Okay.
mean liability?
yes.
Okay.
So, but I think that I would like to have a copy of that.
Okay, our insurance, every year when policy comes, they give us copies to all the board members. I can contact them and see if we can get copies of,
Well, the policy is in the GRS policy.
well, there you go.
It's where?
It's in the GRS.
We looked at it the other day.
The insurance policy?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
listed.
Oh, sorry,
I'll send it to you if you want.
thank you.
Okay.
It's been in there for quite a while. I don't know what we do about this. This is a previous owner that owes 40,
That's taken care of, don't worry
It
about
is?
that. Yeah, it's taken care of.
so it will come out of there
Yes.
eventually?
It can come off next
It's
report.
in there a year.
It's been taken care of.
Okay.
Okay. Um, So I don't know if this is a committee report. I'm gonna include it in the committee report. You wanna do your, master?
Oh.
You're on the floor.
Yes, okay, master report. We held our meeting May 16th, which is Monday, at the golf club patio. We've been meeting at Tahiti Clubhouse for the past, I think, 3.5 years. When we went to make reservations for this last meeting, they told us we are no longer welcome. We cannot meet there anymore. So we have no place to meet right now. The master, who has all these different HOAs, has no meeting place. Big problem is parking. If we have a big crowd, we don't have enough parking. None of the HOAs have, other than the big clubhouse, and they won't have us. So we're
How
looking,
many people do you usually have at that meeting?
there is no usual. We have 9 members on the board plus our manager. And we have anywhere from 3 that came last month to we had 63
Right.
a couple months ago. So there is no usual, but you gotta be prepared for a big crowd, you know?
Right, but we handle more than that here for meetings.
Yeah, but the problem with that is, we don't have the parking here, number one. And these people are not local to understand where they can park, if we would have them. You know, they would come here and we've had the problem in the past, they park everywhere. And then that becomes another issue. So we're looking for a location, just so everybody knows, we're looking for another place.
How much you pay? Yeah.
Hmm?
How much you pay?
How much we pay? There were 2 sub-HOAs who had past due accounts. Did you find anything out about the GRS paying $25?
They did, they've taken care of it.
Okay.
Oh,
And we
good,
have-
we don't have to send it to the attorney.
All Brothers Trimming, I have them report, will start trimming on Monday. Well, they finished today. So the complete boulevard trees, all the trees that were on the boulevard in the inner parking areas and everything are all trimmed per hurricane standards. The hardwoods, there's a limit by law how much we can trim, and they do that every year. I think it's 25% of the canopy they can trim. So the palms, they trim up real high, so we're in good shape for hurricane. We have some trees that are hanging for the master from adjacent properties that are not hurricane trees, and we're talking to those property owners about that and are concerned that if they fall into us, so we're talking something about that.
On that, Ed, I noticed that down here on the Lucerne North, that there are a number of hedges that are very, they're not cut straight across. Is that the master responsibility?
On the other side of the path are not ours. The path, the HOA ends at the path. So the hedges are on the outside of the
master,
path.
okay. Thank you.
Holiday tree lighting, and the trees that were up front, we used to light 2 trees. We have all the lights for 2 trees. We're letting the pros decide how they're gonna put the extra lights up for this coming holiday. Jack's Electric is set to come and do the electrical improvements at the beginning. There was a piece of equipment that they had on back order, like everybody else has stuff on back order. And they're waiting till they get that one piece before they do all their work. Our Magus lawsuit, M-A-G-A-S is the lady's name, is still pending. She's asking $750,000 settlement for her car accident. It gets interesting now. The traffic infraction ticket for this accident was rescinded by the judge because she didn't show up for the hearing. So now there's no longer a violation, it's just an incident. So that is to our advantage as far as the lawsuit, okay? Because that was fuel for the lawsuit. Our master attorney feels very confident that we will win this case, and he is working to lower our $750,000 security value down to $250,000, which should lower our insurance rate quite a bit, not back to where we were, but should lower it. Now we get into insurance. This gets even more interesting. For 2022, the master budgeted $36,505 for insurance to cover what we have to cover. That was a 10% interest over the year before. We thought we were safe with a 10% increase. Our new insurance going from $36,000 to $169,228.
Oh, wow.
476% increase. Get ready. Get ready. It's not just us. Residential is doing the same thing.
I have a question. That 169,000, or let's round it off to 150,000, that new rate is gonna be passed along to each of the 9 communities
Yes.
to pay back, so that'll be an increase that we have to pay back to the master,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, eventually. It's not gonna hit this year.
Oh, but next year.
It'll hit next year. We talked about it, and to raise it this year, there are HOAs who have raised their local HOA fees, the max that they are allowed without having a vote. And if we came back to them and say we need more, they'd have to get a 75% vote from their individual HOAs who could vote it down, and then they're in trouble. So we are borrowing the money that we need to pay this from our own reserve fund. We can only borrow it, we cannot use it from the reserve fund. And we have to pay that reserve fund back, and that'll start happening next year. So we got the legal advice on that and how to do that. So hopefully, with the lawsuit being reduced, that figure will be reduced also. We can only hope. We have no choice. We went through a broker from the masters who went to everybody, and the only company we got was the company we had. Initially, they were gonna ask for $250,000. So it really is a problem. Then I went to the broker we used, and they tried very hard to find coverage. And no one will touch us because of that 2 lawsuits. That's the killer. The master passed a termination of sign agreement with Lake Worth Drainage District. There were 3 sign easements at the Lake Worth Road. If you come off of Lake Worth Road in the initial, where you see the golf course sign, that was one easement. There were 2 other easements there that when this whole property was designed, were acquired from Lake Worth Drainage District to put signs there. The master never did put a sign there. The golf course did. But now Lake Worth Drainage District, if you've seen over, in fact, right over here off the boulevard, you see what they cleaned up. They are cleaning all their right-of-ways, and if anything's in their right-of-way, they're removing it. They don't want anything in their right-of-way, because they get sued if there's something in their right of way during a storm. So they're,
Drainage is doing that?
huh?
Drainage.
Yeah, Lake Worth Drainage District. So we signed that agreement to release those, and the golf club did the same. We reviewed the police violation report. I think it was in your pack, was it?
Yes, yes.
Okay. You
Yep.
you see what kind of violations we're having?
Well, they don't have it, so
No.
just summarize.
We have it.
They don't.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Basically, there's about 5 different violations that are common. Failure to stop at a stop sign is the biggest one. And that's every time the policeman's here. The policeman is here twice a week for 2 hours each time. No set time, no set day. It varies all the time. We don't want to make it a habit that people know they're going to be there. So we pay the police to be here twice a week, 4 hours total. Basically, it looks like the average for failure to stop at stop signs is maybe 3 times each time they're here. Speed violations usually once each time they're here. We have no driver's licenses, 6 times.
Wow.
6 times people are driving without driver's licenses. Unbelievable. And then there are other things, those are the minor ones, but that's the kind of stuff that we're getting reported. The tree people, I talked to them today, and they were quite upset because people did not slow down for them while they were working. They actually felt threatened. That people were driving so fast past their trucks, and they had cones out, lights going, people flew past them. And they were quite upset about that. So, we discussed late fees for the master also, and the master voted not to waive any late fees. Mattamy representative was there. The Mattamy representative is going to be here tonight. He's going to say the same thing that he said to us. So, that's it.
Arlene?
Yeah.
What did I have you?
Well, you have
Entertainment.
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 Okay. We had a very lovely day playing shuffleboard and snacking. Bob put the teams together and directed the play. The day ended with a dinner of hot dogs, hamburgers, all the fixings, drinks, and dessert. Thanks to David Rock for his wonderful grilling, also to his assistant, Trixie. Thanks to Judy Kaufman for her assistance with shopping and the long day at the event. A special thanks to Elena Wolf, Lois Cook, and Joan Upson for pitching in.
Okay. The homeowners report?
Ray and Mary Lou Pelliero, 452 Pine Lake Court. Joseph Alexander Molden, 7228 Pine Park Drive West. Jennifer Marshall Powell. There's our new homeowner.
Congratulations.
Welcome. 7423 Pine Park Drive South. And Sharon Gineski, 7450 Pine Park Drive South. Sharon won't be moving in until October or November.
That Pine Lake Court address, we have the right numbers in there?
Oh,
Aren't there 4 numbers
yes.
per household?
Yes, thank you, I missed that. I will get it for you.
That's probably the last digit.
Yeah.
Or the first?
Are you sending?
Before Arlene goes on,
I'll finish. Go ahead.
no, I thought she said she's not finished.
I am finished.
Oh,
I said
I'm sorry.
I'm finished.
Oh, okay. Well, I know that this is the entertainment report for this past month, but I think this is a good time to put in a dig for our next upcoming,
Okay,
which
sure.
tonight is the last day for Bunko, to sign up for Bunko.
We didn't have a deadline for Bunko. We didn't have a deadline
So
for
it's a
Bunko.
walk-in?
I thought it was the 18th.
I thought it was the 18th.
today.
No, we didn't have it in the newsletter.
Oh.
We
No.
didn't have it in the newsletter. It was, you know,
Okay, so when is it?
overlooked. So, Friday, we're having bunco. I don't know if you know what that is. It's a dice game. You don't have to know anything, you just know how to throw dice and count numbers. And it's a lovely, it's a $5, it's a $5 buy-in, and the prizes at the end of the night, money. And there are several different prizes for the money. On Memorial Day, we're having Memorial Day. It's just, we're gonna have
Sunday.
games.
Sunday.
It's on Sunday. We're just, it's in the newsletter. We're gonna have just games. The shuffleboard will be up. There'll be other games, and if you want to play cards, there'll be cards in the clubhouse. And it will be sandwiches. It's a hero from Publix, and there will be fixings with it, and drinks, and
Desserts.
dessert, and a lovely dinner. So come. It's free, and it's free for homeowners that belong to the swim club.
What if you wanna bring a guest?
No guests.
Okay,
Do you want me to tell them why we have it free?
It's in the
Sure.
newsletter.
Okay, let me explain why we have it free. The homeowners association gives the entertainment committee and the swim club $100 stipend. And with the stipend, we have somebody who fills what we call the closet. The sodas, the plates, the cups, and when she fills this, she has the receipt. She gives it back to GRS, and GRS gives her back the money that she spent for it. So we always have $100 in there. But when this started, it was that we were paying back the HOA and the people, the homeowners, by giving 2 free things per year. And we gather the money from different sources, from when we do things and we have money left over. We just started doing things with the entertainment committee since COVID. And this is only the third big thing, Memorial Day, that we will be having. And usually we do a 50-50. And we give out tickets and we collect money. There's $1 for one ticket, and so on and so forth. And we get money, and the person who wins gets half, and we get the other half. So we collect money, and this is how we get some money into the entertainment committee. And we give this 2 free. And usually it's either July 4th or Memorial Day or something like that.
okay, thank you. Michelle, do you want to do the landscaping?
Sure. At the swim club, in addition to the normal maintenance, Frank had to repair a pipe connected to the rust inhibitor. The rust inhibitor goes through the sprinkler system so we don't see rust all over the building. Well, the pipe was broke, and all the liquid that was in the rust inhibitor leaked out. When you called me, Ed, he was only here 5 days prior. There was enough liquid in there to last at least 2 weeks till he came back, and he was shocked to see that the pipe was broken,
So as good as that sounds.
okay?
Yeah, well, that's good.
He's confused as to how it got broken, but that's a whole nother story. There was a dead bush removed, which will be replaced. All the palm seed branches that have all the little pellets dropping all over the place, they've all been cut so that there's no more seed branches falling. The sprinkler system was checked, and there was additional trimming and weed eating prior to the shuffleboard. The common areas, it was just normal maintenance.
Thanks. Jane's not here for the violation report, she's out sick. Most of her reports were parking on grass, lollipop lights, that type of thing. They're doing another drive around on June 1st for their monthly or bi-monthly
interesting ones on this time.
Yeah. Yeah, we have some unique ones, but I'm not gonna get into those.
No.
I have a picture of one house that has 4 cars parked on the grass. I've sent it to anybody who wants it.
Okay, I guess along those lines, I'm going to get the printer to print up some waterproof tags that we can, because we have those green stickers that GRS no longer provides. I guess they did provide them
No,
initially.
we probably.
Oh, we bought them?
I
Okay.
purchased them.
I don't really like those because they create an adversarial mode with the car owners.
But
Stick
they're
'em
hard
on
to
the
get
car.
off the window.
They're hard to
and
get off,
then
and
gives them a little reminder.
it's kind of like the fun penalty, but they don't really like it, so.
Well,
If we want them to cooperate, I think we need to be a little more gracious there. But I'm gonna have it made up so that we can, it'll be more along the lines of what our policies are, check off box and the typical other.
And stuff
Stick them on
under
either stick them in the side window or under the windshield wiper type thing, and I'll hand them out once I get them. Everybody can jump on the bandwagon with those. Maintenance report, not a lot there, just taking care of routine needs. Did clean up the shuffleboard courts for the party. The cameras were repaired again. Cameras are working. Comcast, there was probably 5 visits, or 5 hourly phone calls. Finally, they showed up. And I take back some of what I said about your heads. It was the box. We had a bad box.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when they finally got it.
That was the 3rd one,
Yeah, well,
for me.
that was the problem, so it's now working.
Good.
The sidewalk contract hasn't been put.
Sidewalk contract, they have 1 driveway to seal, and they haven't submitted a final payment request. But they did take care of the asphalt repair.
Yeah, I know, why,
Majority of the, 99.9% of the work's done.
yeah.
Good.
So when they want their money, we'll see them finalized. The ARC, Trixie, you want me to read it off?
yeah,
Okay. ARC had applications in April that they approved for 2 roofs and 4 house paintings. Anything else I need to say?
no,
Tell me about the sidewalks. Somebody said that you have to have the sidewalks, if you wanna change the sidewalk, you have to have ARC permission?
how are you gonna change
What?
the sidewalk?
She's talking about individual properties. If you
Yeah,
want- if you
I
want to
mean,
put down
I had tiles on mine at one time and I took them off.
When you're on the driveway.
Yeah,
From my driveway to the front of the house.
we'll ask Trixie. Trixie, how do you handle sidewalks on individual properties?
We never, that's not.
Doesn't require a permit,
No,
does it?
that's not
That
on.
matches.
It's not on the
It's
art
not on the
requirement
art.
list.
Not
Yeah.
even-
As long as you're not making it big enough to park on, I guess we don't really care, right?
I'm gonna repaint
Okay.
mine
Yeah,
purple
it's
with
not an
dots.
issue, hasn't been an issue.
Okay, well, then we might come after you.
You know where I live?
I have,
Yes. Any other committee reports?
no, I just would like to ask, when we make papers like this up with all the information,
Yeah.
which is great,
Okay,
could you date it at the top?
dated? Okay.
Because when you get these and they get into a lot of boxes, you don't know which one goes to what.
Okay,
So I
Even the second
appreciate
one.
any papers that are sent to be dated.
Right.
all right.
Even the master, I wrote master on the top of the second page.
Well, it's just a continuation of the first one. I mean,
But
I would have stapled it, but I emailed it, so I didn't staple it. The dates are on that.
Okay,
Okay, but the dates are not on the second one. This is about the, police report. It does not say master on the top. So if I just stick it in my file, I wouldn't know whether it was from,
I'll put the date on.
thank you.
speak up on the floor? Okay,
Yes,
go
we
ahead
have
and
a
stand up and go for it.
Doris, stand up.
Good, I'm going to time.
I'm Doris Wolfing MacArthur, 7300 Pine Forest Circle. You were talking about GRS and late charges. I received a letter dated May 10th that I was in the arrears and had a $5 fee. I checked with my bank, I pay through my bank, don't write a check. And it had been processed by the 27th of April. So I called GRS and told them that, and they said, well, we can't find it. Bring us proof that of the check. And this has happened before. So I went to my bank and they said, well, we didn't actually send a check. It was an electronic payment.
Okay.
I don't know when the change was made from GRS to my bank to make it electronic all of a sudden. My point is that just because I may be on a list of late payments, I have no clue that I'm on a list for late payments. When I called again today to say that there was no physical proof, they couldn't show me a check that was cashed, as opposed to the other times. Somebody said, oh, we found your payment. This was 4 weeks later. So there may be something at GRS where some new employee may be a misposting or whatever. Just because somebody is late does not mean that they're late. That's all I want to say.
Okay.
And we need, I think, a new flag outside.
Yes, we do.
Yes, I have it on the counter, but
Yeah.
put it up tomorrow.
Trixie had her hand up.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, so, I was at the pool the other day and I noticed that, the benches over there, they all need painting and everything again. And, I was just gonna suggest that whoever does that or whoever you have do it, use marine paint. It's a little bit more expensive, but it will last a lot longer and it would just look a lot better. That's all.
Okay, is it painting or is it the stain from the irrigation?
No, the benches actually need to be painted, and the one bench, the wood needs to be replaced as well, where you sit.
The plan was just prior to you coming on, that it was gonna get painted, just never got done.
Mhm.
All right. I didn't get that memo.
Came from the past.
Is there,
There was somebody else over here.
What, okay.
Yeah, I'm Dennis Stolten, and listening to you talking about late fees and when the banks make payments and being late and whatever.
We've heard that.
Okay.
Yes, we have a question.
Yes.
When will you have the full board? When will this be accomplished?
I mean the full 7 people that we have on the board at this time.
Right,
Jane is sick.
right.
So-
So you're waiting for the full 7
For the
people
full 7.
before you have
Right.
the vote?
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Directory status is complete.
The directories were delivered. Everyone should have received one. They all had your name on it, so we were assured that everyone got one, because the people who delivered them they didn't just leave it in the house. They left it in the house and the address was on. I asked them that if there were snowbirds, that they should return them to me. I have 3, and I'm going to get another one. So if there's anyone that delivered and they have snowbirds, I would like them back. I think we need to have, like we talked, someone keep that list up to date.
Well, Arlene is submitting new homeowners information to all the board members as part of the procedure for new homeowners.
But
So-
it should be in the house, they should have left the.
No, we're talking about keeping the directory.
Keep
up to date.
keep the
Okay.
directory name.
Oh, today?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So when we put it in the newsletter, people should take out the old and put in the
No,
new.
the question is, someone should be responsible for keeping
Oh, okay.
that list up to date.
Yes.
And verifying it with GRS, so that
Do
you
we have a
vote.
volunteer? If not, I will.
Okay.
If you volunteer.
I am not volunteering. You know the work that has to be done for that director. Now, I have extra copies, since she's seeing the new homeowners, I'm assuming she should have that.
Do you want to do a directory update?
I will do, and, she will be the one handing them out, so.
You want to do the directory update?
And what are you
It's
talking
just
about?
keeping the data.
It's a database, Excel file. Let me work.
Are you comfortable with Excel?
Let me work on it.
I can be.
I'll help.
I've been learning, I've learned other things that I didn't know before, so I can.
We'll get started anyway.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I think we need to have, when you get on the board, you can volunteer.
We're writing that down,
So
Janet.
right,
We
so
won't
right
forget.
now,
Okay.
we're gonna start out.
Okay.
Okay.
Just show me.
We're gonna maintain the database for.
For the directors.
For the directors.
It's not on.
Why aren't we, we have too many people who want to be on the board. Why aren't we voting on this tonight and bring them on?
He said he wants them all over here.
I want all 7 members here to vote.
He decided.
That's gonna be another month, now
Yeah,
it's 6
another month.
months, that's gonna be June, and who knows who's not gonna be here in June?
Well, be aware, whoever gets elected next month, if we have an election and it was successful, you'll be sitting at the table at the start of the old business,
Good idea.
okay? So that's 1 less month.
But I agree with whoever you are, Michelle.
Yeah, I don't know.
And somebody out there told me I was wonderful, I could remember all the names, and here I can't even remember the person sitting next to me.
In looking through the directory, I found that there was some who's passed away, and some relatives have taken over.
Well,
And I found, and when I looked into, where did you get the property appraiser, the property appraiser has these people on here.
Okay, that directory, at everyone's defense that works on the directory is constantly in flux,
Yeah.
Right.
all right? That's why I'm glad you volunteered for that, because it is something you have to maintain, you have to stay up with. Now, we did have complaints from people who didn't want their phone numbers in
I
the
know.
directory,
I
who
got
didn't want
it.
their emails in the directory. There was only, I think, 3 or 4 complaints,
Yeah.
but you just can't keep up with it, even though we sent out letters and
Yeah.
somehow information got put in the directory that wasn't supposed to be in there.
we had, like you said, we sent out 2 notices that we were going to do the directory, tell us what you want in there. And we have those files, we have them,
Right.
of what came back to us. So whatever they got said, that's what we did. But people didn't send them
But I
out.
also noticed we only have 7 non-swim club members, asterisks in the directory. There's actually 9, isn't there? 10.
It's 10.
That's my fault.
But, I mean, it's hard to keep up with, so.
But I also think it's important that the board has not only the name, but the phone number and the email address.
Yes.
If people do not want it in the community, that's fine, but I think that the board needs to have it. What if there's an emergency someplace and we need to get in touch
Well, I
with
think
somebody?
GRS does have it in the
Yeah, but that's still,
homeowner application.
Yes, I
So
know
if
that.
you need it, we can contact GRS and get it.
Yeah, we shouldn't be printing it.
we shouldn't what?
We shouldn't be printing it if they've asked.
I
something else.
didn't ask to print it.
Well, once it's up to us, it's printed. If you need it, we'll go to GRS and get it.
So far, there's
You can
only
call Kat.
one
If there's a
gentleman
phone
that,
number not there that you need,
Yeah.
just call Kat.
Okay. Well, I want them all.
Okay. See which one do you want to call Kat? Get a dozen.
Cheaper? Cheaper by the? Okay.
All right?
there's only one gentleman that asked that since January,
Right.
it's this year, 2022, that asked that neither be put. And
Okay.
All right.
he didn't want to,
Is
so
there-
he's
is
a very
there a choice?
personal person, and he doesn't want, anybody to know
Who he is?
who he is.
or where he is, or how he is.
Okay, status of procedures. As you know, I've been working on procedures. I've yet to, not that Jane hasn't attempted, she's been working on it, she sent me some information, she's still writing down her procedures. When her life gets organized and she's hearing better, I'm going to sit down and finish the violations procedure. The homeowners orientation procedure, we did,
Okay, but I had questions on it, Bob, and
and I
the
responded
last-
to your questions.
Yeah, but you didn't, because you,
If there's something missing, tell me.
it's something that you put in, and I don't know what you want. You want the procedure, when I send the certificate, to GRS, that certificate of approval, you want also what was said. Do you want verbatim what was said at the,
No, you have a list you go off, right?
yeah,
Well, that's,
So
But-
if there's
but it's-
deviations from that list, just mention those.
Anything,
Any
Ended on that
deviations from what, if a special question comes up, and that way we can keep track of the questions. And we can alter the list as time goes on, so that people who have questions, if the questions keep coming up, we alter the list.
right.
All right,
The
that's
same
all, that's all.
questions.
The special questions that come up and you give an answer. That's all.
well, this is not what you specified. You said, tell what you said, how you did the,
So,
But you have forms that you follow.
yes.
Because I sit with
it's-
Arlene,
it's-
and she reads through it, she covers everything, but I think what Bob is
That's
saying
the
is,
rules, but you put down as the policy for.
no, don't use that word, because Margie gets upset.
I have a list here.
of upsetting words.
Anyway, those are really the rules and that's under the rules and regulations on the internet, the website. Those are the rules and regulations. This is what I go, they sign a thing, and they say that they have read these. What I do is go over it with them,
Right,
the same thing,
right, we're saying the same thing.
so that, yeah. I didn't know if you understood.
But if there's any deviations from that, any additional information, any questions they ask, that you give them answers to, because I don't want to get into details. I had complaints from some people, and you know who it is, across the street. I had complaints from people that you told them something, and they protested. They have a problem with it. So that's the only thing I want you to do is, if something's not on the list, they ask a question, give an answer. What is it?
We just-
Tell them.
we have a record of it.
We have a
Right.
record. That's all. Okay.
But I sit with Arlene, and I've never had anybody complain about a certain answer.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
What happens is, Arlene says something to you, you're a new homeowner, okay? She goes down her checklist and says something. By the time the homeowner goes back or another month later, okay, they're milling it around in their mind.
Right.
They might have asked the question during the interview, but then it's not jotted down, so it's he said, she said,
Right.
and we get into this conflict of what not was told to the homeowner.
Right.
Yeah, we're talking about one specific individual.
It'll happen more,
Yeah,
I'm
well,
sure.
Yeah, and I would like to know what he said that I said.
Okay. I'll get with you
All
off
right, all right.
policy to the next subject, okay? Yeah.
I'm ready.
Okay. The entertainment committee, are you gonna do a procedure on that, on how you handle? All this simply is you come up with a subject, you meet with the committee when, how many times a week, how many times a month, someone on the committee is taking care of the budget, somebody on the committee is doing the buying. The whole committee contributes to the cause,
Where you store your stuff,
yeah,
Right.
how much
Right.
supply,
where you store your supplies.
how much supplies you have. when you make decisions on when it's gonna be a free event, or how you determine your costs, just, so when someone else walks in and sits down in your seat, they're not reinventing the wheel, okay? That's all it is, it's a procedure. It's not a policy, we're not recreating rules and regulations, we're just saying, this is how we comply with the policy. This is what we do.
All right, we'll
All
try
right.
it.
Newsletter procedure is on the GRS site. The treasurer procedure, Ed submitted something to me, I haven't had a chance to review it, I'll sit down with you and go over it,
Yeah,
okay?
there's more
All right,
already.
okay.
Always will be.
Renter and lease. There is a policy on that, do we need to have a procedure on how that's handled as part of the homeowners thing? You mentioned it to homeowners?
That they can't, rent for 18 months.
Right.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Reserve.
They read that, you know, supposedly read that, and
That's
that's
not
in
the
that
problem.
rules and regulations.
I think,
So we go over.
like you said, I think we need to have some kind of policy as far as a rental, a continuation of a yearly rental.
Okay.
That we are constant, you know, who's responsible?
When it's renewed, we're updated.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I think we need to-
Or when somebody does rent, we need to, I mean, there have been times in the past where a homeowner will rent and the board does not anything about it.
So there's a lot.
That's in the violations report, there were quite a few bad letters on that.
Ah,
Okay, are there any other procedures we need to pursue?
Um,
Anybody feel left out?
Well, you have the camera procedure.
The
That's
policy.
Oh, that's a policy,
That's a
excuse me.
Okay.
I'll take my time.
they both
Okay,
belong, they both start with a P, so.
so now we'll get into policy. Do you want to start the discussion?
Sure. You asked me to get the agendas for this year and last year, and you have the agendas for this year, so here are the agendas for 21.
Okay, are they all on the GRS site? Remember we went through that thing?
Well, I have no idea, but they're
Okay,
here, and
all
I'll
right.
give them to Kat. She
That's
can
all right,
look at
I'll
them.
take them, what's not there.
And you also asked for a couple of the meetings, minutes, which is also here,
Yeah, because they were
May
missing.
19th to 21 and May 17th.
Okay.
And I have something here that says Lucerne Lakes Homeowner Association, new homeowner policy. You can't make a policy, policy has to go through
No,
the board.
the one that was posted is procedure. That was its initial draft, up for discussion, sent to everyone for review. The one that actually got posted says procedure.
Okay, well, this is on my computer as a policy.
Okay, throw it away.
Throw it away, you gonna send me a new one?
Get it off
Yeah,
the, if I have to go to GRS, so do you.
I will,
What's
I will
fair
get
is
it.
fair.
I will
What do
send-
I have to go to GRS for?
It's on the GRS.
It's on the GRS site.
Under association.
Well, I've been on that site a lot.
Okay, I'll
Okay.
send it to you.
So this is the procedure for this, so I can get rid of policy.
Yes. The one I sent you will say that.
Okay, no problem. You also asked, and Ed sent you the policies for the camera, because you asked me to do this.
Yes, yes, I have that.
Right. And did you get all the non-compliance one that you wanted?
Yes, I sent that to you.
You sent that to him?
Yes, he did.
All right, and get rid
28.
of that.
Now, that one was 28 pages, and I believe
Mine's only
because we don't
23.
have a finding committee,
No, because our CRR, whatever,
okay,
are
CCRs.
updated, we can't enforce it.
right.
That's why.
So it's
we
really,
put
it's
those-
really, so that's why GR's only like the first 7 pages. Okay.
This, of the rental of the clubhouse, which is a policy and agreement, this was taken off the website.
Oh,
and-
tell Trixie, stop.
What?
I think this is gonna be a question for you. No? She was the head of the committee.
What,
You were head of the
The
committee.
committee.
Okay. she was on the committee.
Okay, which one are we talking about?
We're talking about the rent.
This is the policy and amendment for use of the swim club recreational building, which is the clubhouse.
Okay,
This I took off of the website in March. And in March, we had the committee, go over and cross out what they didn't want, and we sat, the board sat, and adopted the new revision of the policies. And in the minutes, it says that, it will be sent to the board members along with the checklist. Unanimously approved, a corrected copy for the revised swim club reservation forms, including said checklist, will be forwarded to the board. It's never been forwarded to the board.
What is that, the checklist?
The whole thing.
The whole thing, the policy to reserve the clubhouse,
Updated, with the corrections.
the updated
New
one.
policy.
Now I went on the website, and now on the website is this, which has nothing to do with this.
okay.
This has so many things not in it, and we need to be covered with these things. There's a whole list of things that are not, that's what's on the website now.
I wish you'd given that list to me the other day. I mean, you spoke about the alcohol, but I wish you had given me the list so I could have started working on it.
Okay, so.
It's all listed in here, it's all
No,
listed.
your list.
I went through here and took it off of there.
Is everyone familiar with what she's talking about?
Yes,
Yes.
The conflict?
yes.
Okay.
This is a policy that was passed and adopted by the board. You cannot put
Is there a
something like
conflict,
this.
is there a conflict between that procedure and that policy?
This is not a procedure, this is listed as
I'm
the
confused.
agreement.
Yeah, me too.
That's what's on the website now, when you go under clubhouse reservation.
Okay, that is the procedure that Sally uses to reserve the clubhouse.
Yeah, that's not a
Which
policy.
should be in compliance with the policy you're talking about.
But this policy is not on the website.
The secretary put it on there. Was it adopted?
It was, but
Why is it
I
on
didn't
the
get the
website?
corrections.
We didn't get it corrected, we never.
They were supposed to
Sally was
be,
supposed to send out a corrected copy with all the revisions fixed,
Without the yellow mark.
without the other marks.
What,
I
what March,
apologize.
what March are you talking about that was approved?
The-
March 16th meeting,
Why don't
2021?
No,
22.
2022.
we approved it here.
Yeah.
You
Right
made the
here.
changes, and we approved it, but we were supposed to get the good
We
copy.
were supposed to get a good copy, we never did.
Okay, I'm putting big stars here next to this. I'll have to go back to my computer. I thought that I sent everything out.
A corrected copy of the revised swim club reservation forms, including said checklist, will be forwarded to the board. If I said that, it is this document.
this,
No,
this
that's-
policy and
She
agreement,
said it. Sally said she would do that.
this is a policy,
I apologize.
You wrote the corrections and everything. You said, I will correct it and send it out to each of the board members.
Okay.
Well, actually, I can correct it, one of the board members, one of my committee members did,
Well,
but
whatever.
I'm still responsible.
I will meet with
understand that.
Sally. I will make sure that we're in compliance with the reservation form. And I will make sure that you get a clean copy of that policy. And if there's any changes done, the policy will come back to the board for approval, okay?
that would be good. Thank you.
I hope we have specifics, though, I mean, I think that, see, I'm confused, but that's okay.
Go on your computer or your phone or wherever you have the information.
On my computer, yes.
All right, and I think it was like maybe March 14th that you sent this,
Okay,
and you will have a copy then of what you sent,
right.
and then you'll be able to see what we're talking about.
I know what you're talking about, I just don't remember that I didn't send it,
Okay.
but I'll go back.
So look
You
for it.
sent
You
it?
can't
Okay,
find it.
I'll take care of it.
You and I
We'll
will
take
meet.
care of it.
You and I will meet.
Yes,
If we
again,
have a problem with finding it, we'll get Margie involved. And before the next meeting, we'll
how to take care of, right.
You want this copy?
Sure, that would help.
That's what I was sent.
There you go. That's what you're looking for.
Okay.
All right?
Sure.
Um,
I have this.
Any other policy issues that you have? Because the one I want to talk about is the overflow parking policy,
Which we don't have.
which we don't have,
Right.
and we talked about last month. I didn't get any input from anyone, and I'm not, I have not done anything with it.
I think we have a workshop on it.
That's what we gotta have as a workshop, because the sky's the limit of what this thing can turn
Right.
into.
That's right.
So do we wanna set a time now?
Yes.
Next Wednesday night at 6:30? Does that work for everybody?
Can't tell you off the top of my head.
This is the 18th, would be the 25th.
Right.
At what time?
6:30, same as.
Same as the meeting.
I should be available.
I should be okay.
I'm not,
You're not?
I have a dog club.
You wanna be here?
If I'm gonna go checking the overflow parking, then I'm gonna have to know.
If you're volunteering, we'll be feeling date.
No, but isn't that part of when I drive around with parking?
I thought someone else was doing that.
Yeah.
Laura,
What are
Lori,
you doing?
I thought Laura was doing that.
Lori is sick. Everybody's getting sick around here. She said that, they're complying more now with stickers in the windows, and a few cars that didn't have them are back.
Okay.
And sometimes she has to put more than one sticker on a car because evidently they don't believe it or something, I don't know.
Well,
But she says if you want the list, she would give it to you.
my issue is, we need to go in depth on this policy, because right now, it's a private parking lot for half of the street over here.
Right.
It belongs to the whole community. People had visitors come, they should be able to find a parking space. It shouldn't be a private parking space for 12 people on the street.
Well, it's
So we
not
gotta
only
figure
the
out
street.
how we're gonna manage
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, there's a couple that are
If
out.
it's gonna become so many days a month they can use it, and then after that they're gonna start paying.
Uh,
Okay,
yeah,
That's
that's
the workshop.
I mean, that's
Let's
one
do-
extreme,
let's-
that's one extreme.
Yeah.
The other one is, we figure out who's gonna volunteer to manage it. But that's what the workshop's gonna be about.
Right.
Figure out how to deal with it.
Yeah, yeah. I have noticed that there's somebody called there that doesn't belong to the swim club.
Yeah, that's the issue.
Don't all look at me. You guys have the workshop and I'll.
No, I think we
Okay,
should have it
then-
when the show can be
Are you
there.
Is it Wednesday night, the issue?
Yes, well, Wednesday I worked, and then Wednesday night, because of the dog show in July, this is a very critical
Okay.
time right now,
What,
between now and.
what night could you be available, or are you?
How about a Saturday?
No,
I've got a
we
couple of
don't-
meetings up in
no.
the air, I'd have to get back with you maybe by the weekend, when I know when all my other meetings are coming together.
All right, I'll send out a couple suggested times, and we can all figure out
Okay.
what works,
Sounds
okay?
good.
Super.
I think everybody should be, we
Yes.
should find a time when everybody
Right.
Right.
can be there.
We have a preliminary one that I can send to you, that we had already talked about.
Okay, yes, I think I have that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I sent it to
Just
you.
kind of basic.
Yeah.
You got the draft ornamental and hedge policy that I sent you? Yes, no?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I have it.
Is that something that we want to consider? Because right now, since I've been here, it seems like every month there's someone that has an issue with hedges and fences on property lines. And we're getting complaints about how we're not consistently administering the fence and hedge issue. We have some 4-foot fences, some 3-foot fences.
6
People,
foot, how about 6 foot?
people who move in here, wanna put up a fence. People who are on the golf course wanna put up a fence on the property line, we don't allow that, that's not allowed, period. But we need to be consistent in how we're handling fences and hedges.
Well, that's
that are
also in our
ornamental.
CCR.
Right now, the CCR only allows it in the front, but we are allowing it in the back. So how do we do that? So until the CCR gets changed, we need to be consistent. Either we're not absolutely gonna allow it, or we're gonna come up with a kind of agree to disagree type of thing where we're gonna purposely be in violation of the CCR and allow something in the backyard.
Yeah.
Can we discuss this at the
So-
workshop?
And we can discuss it at the workshop,
Absolutely.
okay?
Absolutely.
And when we have these workshops, they're open to the.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
There's no.
So anybody
Open to the
that has
community.
issues on fences in the backyard that wants to come and put in their input at the workshop,
No, they
They
can't,
can talk,
speak
they
at
can
the work,
listen.
they can listen, they can speak.
send me an
they can
email or a
join.
text before the workshop, and I'll submit your input. Or you can come and listen,
Yeah,
Yeah, they can do
they
that.
can't speak.
how incompetent we are.
Hey, speak for yourself.
I was actually speaking to you.
Well, then do a better job of it.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
All right.
Okay.
I know, I just give it back.
Okay, new business. The bids to the electronic key system.
Well, do you have
Okay,
a third bid?
no, we had two. Kat tried to get, I think, two more vendors she had listed. They weren't interested. One of them was a fire alarm company, and,
What about the other one that we had originally?
well, like I said, there's two other companies.
I gave them that extra
Yeah.
information.
You gave them the old ones?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have to dig them out.
So we got two bids, and the two bids are extremely different.
Yes.
Right, it's like,
Okay.
you know, it's like apples and
Neither
oranges.
one actually complies with the RFP. All right.
Oh, really? Oh, what you said out?
The, yeah, what I sent out, the cross
Well,
proposal.
then we need to really sit down and discuss.
Right.
Okay. So do you want to add that to the workshop?
Hey, let's get that stuff.
If we,
Okay.
well, if we're gonna finish it at
Why
one
don't we start at
workshop, we'll
1
do another one.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
start at 1 o'clock in the
Okay,
afternoon,
that sounds good.
or end at 1 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
I don't think that's happening.
We agreed
I
to
mean,
not,
I've been falling asleep in my chair.
we agreed to not on Saturday.
That's what I heard.
Okay. Association files. Now, I know some of us, not us, some of you have files at home, and you made a comment, Ed, about the official file. Our official files are in GRS involved.
I have official paper from that.
Okay.
GRS is
Okay,
always.
so it's duplicate. All right. What I want to verify is that it's duplicate. So that is going to be probably a Saturday or a full day for each individual, because what we're going to have to do, Margie and Sally and I met with Kat, we went and looked at the G-ball, because, so that we all saw the same thing. And there's a lot of information that's not in there. So what I would like to do is get in compliance, because it's like 7 years we're supposed to keep some of this information. I would like each of you individually to bring your files in. You can keep everything you got, but anything that we don't have in the G-Vault, I want to, that should be in there, I want to provide it to GRS to scan and put it in the G-Vault.
2 4-foot files.
Okay. Well, I mean, you can do your prerequisite work. You can go through, look at the G-Vault, and say, oh yeah, I have this,
Okay.
you know, and we'll just get together and make a decision whether we want it or not,
Okay.
and get that vault up to date. Okay? Because that is our official file. Again, let's do these workshops first. This isn't critical. And then we'll set dates individually. with Kat, just to come in here and do it. Or if you wanna provide the copy, don't put it out.
Was this estimate done with, is that,
That is the system we were asking for.
okay,
I had a question when we talked about it on these $650 for 200 fobs. I
okay.
have to verify the technical specifications on those because you can buy those at Amazon for like 25 cents.
So this one is on the fobs?
Yes.
Okay.
That's for the entry to the building.
Right. Okay, it's gotta go with this.
All cable doesn't have a monitoring system.
We don't want to monitor this.
Who's gonna do it? And who's
If
gonna
any
do
of
it?
us can do it on our computer,
Who wants to do it?
I'll do it.
And when
Yeah,
you're
when-
gone,
when you're
then what,
gone.
then what happens?
When I'm gone,
When you're not here,
anybody can do it from there.
Can.
It's not.
can, but who's gonna do it? We had the
It's just
same
a matter
problem.
of- It's just a matter of logging in and assigning a fob to a homeowner. The fob, all we're doing is assigning a number to a homeowner,
I understand,
okay? And it's just a database.
That's a policy that we're gonna have to have,
Right,
it's how we're
right.
gonna handle the
Right.
files. So, I just think it's more than just someone that simple, but.
I do not want to be paying somebody $100, $200 a month to monitor. Well, that's what the company wants.
You asking for a
All
volunteer?
cable,
No,
all cable,
volunteers, not paid.
all cable is not providing the service.
Okay, just ask.
The other company is, and that's what, that's not why. In addition to that, they're almost twice as pricey. So,
Okay.
I bet Janet would do that,
Yeah.
if she was on the board.
Next one.
yeah, believe me, I don't want to volunteer for things, but if it's going to make it happen, I'll volunteer. Okay?
I'd like to see your list of things that you're already doing.
Association files, we talked about that. The reserve study. Okay. What do we pay when we have a reserve study done and when we have the last one done?
We had the last one done 4 years ago, 5 years ago. And they're constantly letting me know, we built into the reserve study, there's a date when you should be reviewing it.
Right.
And they gave us a contract price, I sent that to you, so I don't know what.
6,000.
No, not for the update, but that's for a new one.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
The update is like $2,500.
I don't have that.
Well, maybe that was,
No, that's for
Couple
the,
years ago.
for the same company, and I get notices from them because they're in the area so often. I just got notice today where the next scheduled time for them to review us would be September. They're so done. So,
Is that good enough for the budget?
well, we already budgeted that,
Okay.
and we carried that over from last year.
No, I mean, for the budget, for the reserve, for the monthly fees, the quarterly fee.
If they come in August, you mean for next year?
I mean, with their study, the results of their study, they say we need this much money.
Will be put into next year's budget. And we
So
already
we have
have
time if they don't do the study until August?
Yes, they come back over.
Okay.
Because they already have a study, all they're gonna do is, basically, we're gonna tell them the things we already did, and then they're gonna review the things that we didn't do, update these.
Okay, so give me the information and we'll present it next week.
Okay.
I was going to offer to do it because that's what I used to do for business. I had business doing that. But at $2,500, I'm not interested.
It's hard work.
No, I mean, if that's all we're saving, I'm not interested. Yeah, it is a lot of work.
we already
Fence
talked about.
policy, I
didn't
guess
we
I already
talk about
talked
that?
Gotta get rid of the word policy.
No, we are doing a policy. Okay, any other input from the homeowners?
Questions?
Questions?
When's the key fob's gonna go into effect?
We haven't decided we're actually doing it. We haven't decided we're gonna accept the bid. I think, based on past performance, if it's for low bidder, probably, only take them a couple weeks. So,
Low bidder's
first of
always the best
July,
thing. you know?
1st of July maybe. What's that?
I said you don't get the best work from the low bidder. You just get the
That's
lowest
true.
price.
Well,
You know?
we're familiar with this vendor.
Both of them.
We're familiar with the vendors.
Will they replace the hard keys?
The hard keys will go away,
Okay, so it'll open
except for the tennis
the
court.
fence and the building?
Yes.
And then you keep your key for the tennis court?
Yeah.
I have a suggestion.
Are you gonna get 2 fobs per household like we have now, or?
Yep.
Okay, that's all I gotta ask.
I have a suggestion for
Okay,
the
Frank.
tennis courts.
Okay, well.
Knock the tennis courts down and put up a dog park.
Sell the tennis court.
There you go.
I know. That was just, doesn't get used.
No.
And any other comments?
How long does it take for a new homeowner to get approved? Someone that buys your house and they have to be approved by the community to move in? How long does it normally take?
That's really.
It's like a background check or something like
We
that?
don't really approve it, I mean,
Yeah.
we just go through a
It's
process.
an
of
orientation.
Orientation.
Right.
Okay, how long does it normally take?
When you put
Less than an
when you, no, when you put the papers in,
Okay.
could be a day after the papers are put in, or 2 days after the papers, it's very,
Oh, okay, okay, all right, because my wife was thinking like 30 days or something like that.
oh, no.
Okay, okay,
It all depends on when you pass it.
okay.
I think about 2 weeks.
Did it?
Okay, next meeting is June 15th. Motion?
I make a
No,
motion.
no, no.
Go ahead.
You didn't ask us
I
if we
cut
had
you off,
anything.
yeah, okay.
Okay.
I can ask you online.
Move it up.
No, I didn't forget. But I'm seeing it now, that it is still not working.
Air conditioner.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was on 79, we played cards today, it was reading 82.
Okay, I'll look at it.
And what happens is it keeps running and running and running and running, and we're using the electricity.
Do we have a
Because
CAC thing?
Yeah, I gotta look into this. The TV, is there any way the
That
TV
this
put off a
happened-
little heat?
Yeah.
Because it's only that thermostat.
That's right.
No, but this happened before he put up the TV
Oh,
box.
it did?
Yeah.
That doesn't give up.
No, this happened before he put up the TV.
Okay.
Feels pretty good, right?
I won't look at it.
That's all right. Hot wind in here.
Yes. Yes, oh.
Only having one language, foreign languages are not multiple. That's a legal issue.
Fine. When they sue me, I'll stop doing it.
Okay.
Well,
We already asked our lawyer about it.
I guess what I'd like to know is the percentage of other languages. I mean, primarily we're English and Spanish, right? So,
Do you know the percentage?
I'm asking you.
No, we don't. Yeah. We don't know the percentage.
Okay.
Okay, so we need to find out what that issue is.
But when I, you know, after the first time, I spoke, we had a meeting.
Who had a meeting?
You and I.
Oh, we had a discussion.
And you said that it was a mistake and you weren't going to do
I
it.
did
So
not say it was a mistake. I said, you told me you were getting complaints. And I said, okay, I'll think about it.
No, you said to me it was wrong and I'm not going to do it again. And so I did not bring it up at the last board meeting. This was before the last board meeting, so I didn't bring it up again. And you assured me that, you know, you weren't going to do it. And then we get the newsletter and it's in there
So
again.
we have a communication problem, because I definitely did not assure you of anything. all right?
Okay.
So we'll agree to disagree on that, but I'm not stopping putting the Spanish in the newsletter until I'm forced. All right?
Yeah, but the newsletter is
For the
under
community.
the jurisdiction
It's the board's.
of the board. It's not your newsletter.
It's our
It's our newsletter.
Very good.
So, you know, the board has to determine whether this is gonna be or not you.
Yeah.
Why not?
But the
No.
board doesn't determine what goes in the newsletter. I mean, we had something, a thank you for Marion's 90th birthday party. and-
That's not the same thing. That's not the same thing.
Okay.
Oh, and talking about the newsletter, everybody please remember, I have to have the information by, I would say 8 o'clock on Friday night, because I start sending information.
And there was something wrong, you know, in the newsletter. We only can, tow, we can't tow for somebody being on the grass. We can't tow for anybody being, across the driveway. The only thing we can tow for is on the street from 10 to 6 in the morning. That's the only thing we can tow for.
Why is that?
Because
No, it's not according to the docs, it's according to the towing company.
It's
and
the
to-
law.
And the law.
The law. Our lawyer
Because if
says
somebody
you can't touch it.
is on the driveway, you're technically towing them from their property, and they can sue us, okay? Technically, they are on the grass, okay? That is their property as part as the easement, so that is also their property, and they can come after us. If they're in the street between 10 and 6, the towing company will hook them up and take them away.
And they won't.
Did I put that in the newsletter, or is that
I
something
don't
that's in the
know.
newsletter?
I don't know who put it
It was
in.
in the newsletter last month?
Yes, it was in the
Okay.
newsletter last night.
So make sure that Sally knows what the language should be, so that she doesn't put it in again.
Yeah, well, you
Or
know,
so
I
she
don't
can
see
stop
it.
it, she can monitor me. Just make sure Sally is aware of
Well,
what
we didn't know it was gonna, I didn't know it was gonna be until I got my newsletter. I don't,
Okay,
I
well,
don't.
now we want to, if we're doing saying something wrong, we correct it.
The issue also about parking the correct way on the streets.
That was in there. He put
That
it
was
in
in
I
there.
think that was in there, but
Yeah,
Not a
that's not something we can really enforce.
no,
That's,
No.
We can
but
ask.
yeah.
I believe the county can come in.
So we
No, they
can't,
can.
No,
the only thing we can tow for is in our parking lot, correct?
No, we can tow for the street, being on the
Between
street
10 and
between
6.
10 and 6.
And being in our parking lot.
Illegal.
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 Okay. And right now, we don't have a grant for sisters anymore.
We
We
don't.
don't?
No. I haven't found the time to go down and sign.
I think it's a continual.
Okay.
It's a
Yeah,
continual.
yeah.
Until you change, you're
Yeah.
responsible, it's
Yeah.
continual.
Okay. All righty, so now,
So moved.
I second.
vote.
Now we're adjourned.
Okay, we adjourn. What time is it?
It's 8:04.
8:04.